walking in the Swiss Alps.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
A silent river. I love
Yes.
that.
Look at that. Isn't
That is serious business,
That
man.
is serious business. That is a lot of wood.
Who are we meeting?
We are meeting with Martin,
Martin.
and Martin is a very important part of the management in Blumer Lehmann. So he's kind of the business developer, but he's going to show us around and show some of their business areas where they're building modules and so on. And I think if we're lucky, we're going to see this baby here, which is the new wood office building.
Hello, Martin.
Hey, how are you?
Ciao or bonjour. What do we say in Switzerland?
Heute zusammen.
Huh?
Heute zusammen.
Heute sind wir.
Heute sind wir.
Heute sind wir.
Hi, Jonas. How are you?
Hi, good to see you.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you.
I have a pencil.
Yeah, that's great. Typical carpenter's pen.
I have
Yeah.
no carpenter
Unique.
skills at all.
Yeah.
And you also
You
have
have a
carpenter
pen.
pants.
But I have this.
Yeah, not at all.
And I can
Not at
also
all.
put it.
Only the pocket.
Yeah, but it
What is
looks
that?
good.
Where's your
Perfect.
pencil? You are working
Yeah,
with
I
wood.
think there is none here.
Okay. What are we looking at?
This is actually our new headquarter office. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Because we have to come
It's
together
your
one
headquarter.
time. It's actually, we have growing quite a little bit in the last couple of years, and we have everywhere on our company plant, we have some office space.
Okay.
Maybe you have seen already.
Yeah.
We have also in the old family house some office space.
And Anders,
Yes.
Martin is doing the things that you love, right?
I think Martin and whole Blumer Lehmann are doing all the things that I really love.
Are we going in here?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I think, some of the interesting things here is that like timber has gone to become kind of an industrial level, and that's why when we see all of this, an industrial level player on sustainable materials.
Yeah.
It's the one and only large-scale sustainable material. And it comes in so many forms and shapes and has so many potentials. It can fight out concrete.
Yeah.
It can keep steel out of a building. It can be cladding, insulate. It can be almost everything, right? So I hope that's what we're going to see.
Yeah. Martin, show us the way. Show us the
Yes.
future of building. Oh shit. This
So
is
this
what
is
I love.
actually going to be our new cafeteria. So there will be a big hug. That's always good. You can hug this also the trees.
Hello, building.
We can't stop.
Hello,
We
building.
can't stop hugging.
Great. Here will be a teke where you can put your food and your coffee and stuff like that. There is a kitchen in the backside.
Yeah.
And this will be the meeting room of all the employees in the morning break and as well for the lunch break.
And already now you can feel what wood can do to a
Yeah.
building, right?
You smell it.
Yeah.
So you have, just to say, so you have CLT columns, you have CLT bracing, and beams and slabs, right?
Yeah. Actually, we have Glulam beams and CLT
Sorry,
boards.
Glulam. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the insulation and what about fire and all these things here? You have an acoustics.
Yes. Here is going to be the whole area of all the building will have an acoustic ceiling out of wood with drilled holes and sheet wool insulation in the back for getting the sound.
Sheet wool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sheet wool.
Hey, Anders,
So what we
can
just
I
treat
show
is,
Anders one big important difference between this building and your building?
Yeah.
In Tree?
Yeah.
Because we follow one of his building called Tree in
Okay.
Aarhus. I'm just stand there.
Yeah, I'll stand.
Okay. Can you see one really important thing?
Most sustainable architect in the world. Why did you put a giant wood piece in front of the window? Seems kind of stupid.
That is.
Imagine I'm being a kid. Oh, mommy! Oh, I'm stuck. I can't, whatever. I can't get ever.
Most ridiculous host in the world is stuck in a beam. Normally you are wood hogging it.
This was more of a death trap.
You're missing
You
the
didn't,
beam.
Martin, you did something fantastic. You didn't put a beam in front of a window, which is kind of a trademark for Anders.
Okay.
He kind
Yeah,
of.
but that's because
there's actually a beam here.
That's because here in Switzerland you are allowed to make a wood facade. so they don't have to.
Yeah.
If you had to cover your wood facade, he would be doing a bracing just to show it as well.
I know, I love you,
Yes.
and I like to tease you.
So we walked actually in the back side of the building. The front side of the building where the client is arriving is right around.
Let's
that
go there.
here.
But Martin, this is not tree.
This is not tree.
This is a product called concrete.
Yeah, you're right.
Why do we have concrete here?
We did it for the concrete core to have the escape ways safe actually, and you don't have to cover all the wood.
Wow.
Wow!
That's
This is
the trunk.
The entrance to tree.
That should have been the core.
Yeah, it is the core.
It is the core.
Yeah, but there's
instead
another
of
core
that-
because this one is not allowed as an escape way.
Well, you've got Martin in.
Wow.
Is it gonna
That
be
is so
open
nice.
for people inside?
Yeah, you can go inside. There is an opening.
Wow. What the fuck?
My kids would love this.
This is tree Narnia.
This
So
is
there's an opening in the
Can you get in?
staircase, and I will have this kind of. There's a door coming up in the staircase. That's the reason for that space here.
But why? Why is it a door?
Because the main level here will be kind of an open space for also for having I don't know,
Yeah, parties.
events and
Yeah,
stuff
okay.
like that. And all the upper ceiling or stories is office building, and you're gonna have this closed when all the people is running
seriously,
around.
this is like if I could choose an office space in the building, this would be it.
Yeah. No, but
Not that
seriously.
much daylight, but really a
totally
cool
surrounded by wood.
You have this.
and fantastic curves and geometries.
But Martin,
This shows how much. I mean, immediately this. I mean, this is not even an important room for you. It's underneath something, right? But it's showing what you can do with wood, like everywhere. You can curve it, you can glue it, you can use a staircase structure. You can.
but
Yeah,
this is
you
so
know what I
beautiful.
mean.
Is this? But this nobody's gonna get access to this room, right?
No, so it's actually it's hidden. But follow me for the right spot. That's the more important
Well,
spot.
we like this one. Oh shit, Anders. Okay. Forget about. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, new office
Yeah. Okay.
space. Ah, okay.
Forget about the room we just saw.
There's even better spot.
Stop
Jesus
yourself.
Christ.
This is so beautiful.
I just had a sustainable orgasm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That is beautiful. Wow.
Did you drew this?
Yes. So that's
You
actually-
drew that?
Yes.
Not an architect.
Quite.
You
No,
do that.
We did it. We did it.
You did it yourself.
Yeah. Wow. We have.
You're just putting us out of job totally.
we did.
I just
we
lost
did.
my job.
Seriously, just film this. Martin fucking drew this himself. He just put every architect
Oh,
out
it
of
was
the job
actually-
in the world.
We lost. It was actually a lot of people from our team, not
Yeah,
me.
but still.
But and we have also had a collaboration with University of Stuttgart, handling the geometries with us together. But it was really. It's actually just
this
two
is
different
fucking
radiums.
insane.
So the inner board is one radium, and the outer board is one radium. And we just arranged the different boards in a certain way to get this shape.
And look at this. This then it curves that way, but then the joint is cut the other way,
Yeah.
and that's what you can do, right? That's some of the specialties.
So this is actually 5-axis CNC stuff, and that's what our department is doing the whole day. Do it as curvy as possible.
as crazy as possible, just to show that it's possible.
Yeah.
No, but this is fantastic. I think this is gonna blow everybody
Yeah,
away.
totally.
Everybody's gonna build. You know all those steel staircase with the glass and all that. That's fucking going
yeah.
away.
So this staircase is also, it's way cheaper, right?
Yeah, sure.
Way cheaper than what?
It's a joke.
Then concrete. Then concrete. I'm sure, because if you would like to do a curvature like that one with concrete, even before you need to have the boards.
Yeah.
So
this
why
is-
don't you do it with wood?
This is just the scaffolding. This is the mold for the concrete.
And it's the intention of this staircase is actually that we have the connection through all the office stories.
I think it's just it's insane that every time I watch, you know, every time I look somewhere, this is like a new.
There's a new
There's
shape.
a new shape, and you know, I was coming around here and saying, okay, now I've seen it, and then it does
But
this up here.
that part is just so beautiful. with the daylight coming down.
Yeah, and he did it without an architect.
Yeah.
We have been working together with an architect for the whole building, and for sure we have discussed a lot with them, but we handled all the geometries, did the engineering, and
He's
building.
trying
Yeah,
to-
he learned it from the architects.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what he's saying, Anders. Listen to him. He's saying he
No.
learned it from all the architects.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
worked
sure.
with. There's an important point here. When you do these type of projects and you want to work with these shapes, then the fact that you are so close to the machines and the factory
Yeah.
makes it so not easy, but just you know the limits of what you can do. Some of our biggest problems with the high-rise tray that we've just done was that even the engineers, it was the first time to build an 80-meter high wood building, and they didn't know the manufacturers that was coming in. So we didn't know the limits or the potentials of what we could do. And this is a fantastic example of when the factory is going in one with actually the design and the
absolutely.
limits of what you can do,
Yeah.
you can move it so far.
Yeah.
And
So it's super important, this piece.
it is, and it's actually always when we do a free-form building like that one, or as well other structures, it's a very close collaboration in between the fabrication guys
Yeah.
and the geometry guys and the engineering guys.
Yeah.
So because it's every time a prototype, you have to find out what is possible.
Yeah.
And you have some limitations on the machine, you have some limitations on the glue press, you have some limitations on transport. and all that
Limitation
stuff.
on creativity.
Limitation on creativity, right?
No, but
It's almost not here anymore.
no, but the good
So
thing
after
here.
you have seen that.
But the good point here is that when creativity and the limits of how, or you can say the possibility of producing, are merged together,
Yeah.
you can go so far.
But this is seriously, and I'm not trying to take a shit on you, Martin, but why the fuck did you build this out in the countryside? This needed to be inside the UN or something like. I'm seriously.
But
Meaning,
it will be. Now they've done. This is the prototype,
Yeah.
right?
You put
Now they
this
can
in
show
no man's
everyone
land.
that
I
you
mean,
can.
this was with the intention to have very functional building here,
Yeah.
to have all the office space,
Yeah.
but kind of a UL inside which shows our capacity and which shows our skills.
Is
doing
it-
that.
is
And
it-
bringing people to this place.
Is itself like when we talk structure here, just to have some serious talk about how it's put together.
Yeah.
So all these pieces, are they standing on kind of on shoulders on each other, so the forces runs down
Yes.
here, or are they?
Also, the ceiling is connected to the staircase.
So it stabilizes for each
Right.
floor.
Yeah, but it also brings the forces down. Yeah.
you seem happy about that answer.
I'm happy about everything about this.
Okay.
I'm just unhappy that I didn't draw it.
Look at that sheep wool.
Oh, this is sheep wool.
That's sheep
But-
wool.
Okay, now I'm gonna be a little,
So have you ever tasted an insulation like that one?
Did you see that? He actually made out with the insulation. Martin,
It's probably woven with these like when you have a
With
woof.
these machines.
Yeah, they just sew it together
Yeah.
like with the fiber. So the thin, they're not longer than that. And then when you put them like this, then they start to become a stable sheet.
Yeah.
And you can do that with everything. So I guess that's the same here, even better.
You-
But this is like, if you did this, I'm just saying, like if you, this is the Hog test. And
Hog test,
The
yeah.
Hog test of insulation.
It's like a pullover.
So if you do like this, and you don't feel like shit afterwards,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good insulation, because think about mineral wool. It sticks like with glass pieces and stuff. This is really nice. It's
You can
nice.
hear
And
the
the
river.
windows.
Even you can. It's like wellness. You can hear the river.
Yeah, but I also love the.
Wow.
I love that there's nothing in front of the windows. I can just no. Actually, they put a tons of wood in front of the window outside. Jesus Christ! What
Is it
what the fuck's going on with all this wood in front of the window, guys?
Because of natural shading. Because of natural
Yeah,
shading.
okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
you will heating up the building.
Honest,
and have the,
honest.
also
I just have to stop this conversation. Martin, I'm giving you a high five on this design, on the facade down here. I think it's a really important piece that you see here. I would like to talk a bit more about that, Martin. Why is it that we do cross bracing in front of the window?
because it looks nice.
It looks pretty goddamn. Where's Anders? He disappeared. He's something happened. He lost his. You have to film him. He lost something. It's so nice.
So
Usually he
we
gets
also-
stuck here.
We also did a balcony around
I don't know.
3 sides of the
Why the
building.
fuck do they keep
to
putting wood in
being
front of the
able- having
windows?
the shading
Something
system
seriously
outside
wrong with
there.
these guys
Yeah.
in the building
And,
industry. But at least Martin and Anders, they passed the test of getting stuck. In your building, people are getting stuck for life. Here you can at least sit and do a spread eagle or something.
It looks super comfy.
It's so comfy. This is actually a comfy space you've made there.
And we actually don't have any ventilation system except from the hidden rooms without any window. But here we have the automatic opening windows, which are guided by the CO2 level in the building.
Oh,
And as soon as the CO2 is going up, these kind
They
of
open a little
windows, they open
That's
a little
fantastic.
bit. And also in the top of the atrium, there is the fire or the smoke
Levers.
levers, and those ones we don't need because we don't have any fires here. And for that, therefore, we use it for the ventilation. So this window is going to open at the same time like the
levers,
smoke levers, and we have this natural
Is that your
ventilation.
product, or who's making that window that can open on CO2? That's
Yeah,
isn't that a
that's-
new product? A new thing? I
I
mean,
think
that's
it's
wonderful.
actually from Denmark.
Oh, so
It
it's
calls Window Master.
yeah, it's a window master.
Yeah.
like
Isn't it from
it's,
Denmark?
Yeah, it's from Denmark.
it's a spring
I was
up
just
for-
surprised
It's
that it's
fantastic.
down here.
So the motor is implemented in the window, in the frame of the window, so you cannot see.
That's
the,
a big thumb up for window
Thing up to
master that they
Stairmasters.
actually got all the way to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
the idea behind it, why we wanted to have this, because the river here is bringing some cold air,
Yeah.
and during the night otherwise you need to have someone who's opening
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
windows
yeah,
in the
of course.
evening, and out of that we can do it automatically. So
And
we
here the
cool
air,
down
is,
the building in the night.
the air here is so fantastic.
So fantastic. And look, they put clay boards in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Also
clay
for
board.
the climate.
Yeah, exactly, because you guys are super fucking intelligent.
Yeah,
This is what Anders dream about.
yeah. This
It's
is
actually
what.
my office here.
Yeah, that's your.
Are you
office.
serious? Are you serious?
It's so nice.
But
So
seriously,
you want
on a
to
serious
go
note,
outside?
Yeah, let's go.
Anders, you love clayboard,
I
right?
love clay boards, and we're going to have clay boards everywhere in the new building. So nice. You just shoot them in. What is the insulation behind this? Was that the sheep wool also here?
Yes, I guess.
But I mean, you need. Don't you need like 200?
Yeah, but it's
millimeters?
outside. So the wall element is in this area here. Goes out to this. This is just a
But
double
the-
size
but
because
there
here
is-
is.
But you guys seriously has a totally different fires legislation. Like this is, I mean, these things are not possible.
We have a smaller distance in between this building and the production facility, just 7.5 meters.
but
This is
but,
a reduction of the normal distance you must have of 10 meters, but then you have just to cover one facade with unburnable material. So we will do for this
Yeah,
factory hall just another board, which is not burnable.
like a thermocell, something like
But
that.
what you're saying is,
It's actually I think rock panel.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that because of
don't do rock. Don't do that.
Yeah, but thermosol outside, it's not that nice.
No, but there is a panel for that. They have the
aged-
template
Yes.
panels as well.
Could also be an option.
Okay, can I ask something? You talked about legislation.
It's
What
just-
I think you mean that we in Denmark have different rules about burning.
Like we can only have 20% of exposed wood in the building. Otherwise, we need to have something, a fire stop behind it. And
Inside or outside?
Inside and outside, we have some of the. It's a little bit different percentage, but around the 20%. Of course, we can have wood floors. They don't count, but then the facade surfaces.
Be careful, it's just a small.
This is, and here, then our sprinkling we have in our buildings in wood doesn't count. We can't
Really?
count it in as a, it's out. So you always calculate the building as it doesn't have sprinkling, but you have to put it in. Seriously. Which means that then everything, as you are saying, needs to be covered with something
Yes.
that doesn't burn, chemistry,
Yeah.
something that is not organic material, and then you still have to put the sprinkling in.
And is that why? Is it because that we don't have a tradition of building with wood in Denmark? You guys have a tradition of building with wood, right? Like
For sure.
But not in this higher
No,
multi-story
but
building.
but it's inside your DNA.
Yeah.
It is a little
I
bit.
think-
But we also had these big fires in the old cities where everything was out of wood. But after all, we have done a lot of research in fire topics, and we learned it's actually not the problem of burning surfaces. It's the problem of the time people use until
get
they
out.
realize we have to escape.
Yeah.
That's actually the more critical part than burnable surface.
And also like the kind of the development of smoke and so on inside, because
Exactly.
we with the structure, with these columns, we've learned with our high rise that we can just add millimeters to the thickness, and then 1 millimeter is 1 minute of burning, something like
Yeah,
that, and then
exactly.
it's easy to calculate. Like when does it collapse? You just make it
0.8.
thicker.
Yeah, it's
But-
even you can burn 5 hours or 10 hours.
Yes.
There's still standing here.
You can just stand there and heat
Yeah.
yourself. But the problem is with all the other surfaces and all the other materials, and that's where we're struggling now with the first projects. For instance, we've done the high-rise as you've seen.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to use wood on the facade. How stupid can that be? Because it burns. And then we
Super
have
stupid.
fire protection in the wood, and you have to repaint it every 3 years, and so on. Then nobody uses wood.
sure.
And now we are finding out that if we have a fire stop for each floor, then you're allowed to use wood. So that's new.
But it has to be closed totally.
Nobody can be like if you had kind of a steel bracing
Okay.
per floor
Yeah.
going.
Okay. Outside.
40 centimeters
That's
out.
what we do as well.
You do that as well.
Yeah.
But that's new for us. That's
Yeah.
something that brings
That's something what we have since 15 years.
See,
Because
we're
they have
15
Yeah,
years after, at least.
Okay, so actually what I think, Martin, is that this tour of this office building is so interesting that
Yes.
this is a program in itself. So we're gonna end today's program because this was such a beautiful thing.